Hello everyone, welcome back to Challenger League Season 13. I am Corvid, and I'm bringing you today the Sicilian Prix at Parola Casuale, and we are going to have quite the interesting little race we have here. We've got 16 drivers on the grid, couple of absentees heading into this run. We've got a bit of connection troubles going on as we get that first lap underway. Oh my goodness. Okay. Everything's sort of settled its way as we travel with Phantomy in that nice, oh my god, the stutters really are happening today. That is quite interesting. So we get along Phantomy in that black and yellow Riker Auto car. Comes out with only the 8th fastest time. It's MatiMar leading the way with no hacks in P2, X6 in 3rd, then it's Jaruni in P4. So, this could happen. Jaruni is slowed up in the middle of the circuit. That is very interesting there. So, with the standings as it is, MatiMar is enjoying a 17-point lead in the drivers, ahead of Guzman, with Phantomy trailing a long way back in P3. It's a 2-horse race already after 3 rounds, with the Nordic Blizzard team actually a point ahead of our new team in... I forgot the name. I am so silly. Center Corsa, sorry. So the top 2 in the constructors, just 1 point away. Heading to the line now, it looks like Tomatoes has improved, and it is a Center Corsa 1-2 at their second home Grand Prix in as many weeks. MatiMar leading ahead of Tomatoes. They will lock out the front row. Phantomy improves to a 24 flat. That'll see him on the second row of the grid, ahead of No Hacks in P4. Carlitos in that reserve role today. P5 for the Nordic Blizzard team, followed by Jaruni in 6th. And then it's X6 and Guzman in the 4th row of the grid, 7th and 8th, with Nakes and Jonathan Furuz in the top 10. So remember that top 10 will be flipped around, so Jonathan and Nakes will be the front row for the sprint race in the wet. Gorlomi will start from P11 for the sole driver for the Velocity Power team at the moment. F1E6 in his CL debut, as far as I'm aware. 12th place, ahead of Urist. Mr. Crunk in 14th, with Felix Lotus in 15th. And Mike97 not setting a time. Not sure how that played out for him. Maybe he saw himself in a different position. Maybe he had a couple laps done, but the game has recorded no time for him. 89
Mike
tenths
says that he
separating
got
last
his...
and first. Yeah, sorry?
Yeah, he says he got his lap deleted. We had this happen once with Figo,
With
I think.
Figueroa last season,
And
yes.
Yeah, I think he just started from the back.
Yeah, it
Because
is
we have no way to to verify his
time, yeah.
his
It's a
lap
bit
time.
unfortunate as well, because it is starting last for both the sprint and the feature, but yeah, that'll be a shining example. See what he can, see what the young driver can do from the very back of the grid from both races. It'll be definitely a lot of effort to go into that one for the German driver in the Ricker Auto today. Though we do have, again, 2 chances to push up the grid as we head into the sprint race in just a few moments' time. 15 laps of our circuit here in Sicily. Alright, bit of shuffles on the grid, and a bit of a dispute on the driver's sides. The lights are out now, and we are away for our sprint race here in Sicily. Jonathan Furuz will start us off. Nakes in second. He's already losing a bit of ground to the leader as we head down into turn 5 for the first time here. Jonathan Furuz is getting away quite nicely. Guzman a bit late on the, bit wide there. Let's X6 going through into the podium positions. MatiMar finding some grass there. Starting from 9th and 10th are the Center Corsa drivers. Golormi getting into a bit of shuffle there. Carlitos with a lot of big slow on the middle of the track there with him with Jaruni in an incident earlier. And then on MatiMar as well, just in the second corner of the race as well. All the scuffles happening in the mid-pack here. And Jonathan Furuz is not getting away cleanly either. Guzman now on his neck. X6 charging through. Nick still in... holding on to that podium position as well. They go wide here. Phantomy finding some trouble as well. Jonathan Furuz still in the lead, but he's not really pulling away here. X6 on his tail now. Next goes wide into turn 2. He's going to lose a bunch of positions. Holds up a couple of cars in the back as well there. That was Girouni and F186 there. Tomatoes with a bit of problems here as well as MatiMar now at the back of this field. That is a big concertina effect at the back of the field there. Girouni and everyone behind him falling away a little bit. MatiMar and Kronk now battling for P14 as it stands, as Felix Lotus is pulling off the track, and I think he's out of the race just like that. Wow. Okay, going back to leaders. Actually, Phantomy's pulled away. He's going to be the cleanest one out of all of them now, and he's got a decent gap here. He's out of the slipstream range from X6, but he does make a bit of a mistake there. Don't think he's in the range just yet, so he does have a bit of time to maybe pull away and take this win. He's in the box seat for it as it stands after 4 laps. X6 in second, just ahead of Guzman. No hacks and Jonathan Furuz in a slipstream train here, but the Turkish driver with a bit of trouble. Oh no, I don't think he's Turk, sorry about that. No hacks with a bit of mistake there. Galormi and Nakes following behind them as everyone's starting to slowly separate into a bunch of smaller packs. No hacks jumps up into P4 as Guzman gets past X6 into second place. That's the end of just a third of this race here. Jonathan Furuz in 5th place. Then it's Galormi, Mike recovering from the back. Oh my goodness, what was going on with there? Bit of a trouble with the connections here. Mike 97 in 7th, sorry. Nakes in 8th. Then it's MatiMar who's made a bit of a recovery, only up to 9th though. Nakes with a big mistake there. He's going to lose out several places here. Squeezed by Girouni there as well. He's fallen down to 10th. Girouni going really wide there. And Carlito's not finding too much to be happy about in that final corner. And the grip is really making the making the conditions here quite treacherous. Oh dear lord. There's a bit of a lag rocket there on Nakes' side. I'm not too sure what could have done. Nakes getting edging Eurus there, and then Girouni getting caught up on the inside there. So it's still all to play for in this mid-pack here, as the gap between the top 9 and everyone else is really starting to... not top 8, sorry. F1 ahead of this pack. Nakes, Girouni, and F186 really falling back behind the rest of the field here. As we go back to the leader, and it's Phantomy now with a nearly 2 second gap here. No, 1.5 seconds between him and Guzman. He's starting to pull away as we reach the halfway stage. X6 in 3rd place, getting tailed down by No Hacks, and looks like No Hacks has been faster over the past few laps as well, so maybe he can grab that podium off of the Mazda Motorsports driver. MatiMar now in 6th, as Felix Lotus gets back in the car. Actually, he is not retiring, he's gone back in to the car, and he's several laps behind everyone else, so it will be a bit of a reconnaissance drive for him. Galormi, Mike, and Jonathan Furuz in positions 6th to 8th at the moment. And 3 different drivers on 3 different teams going alongside Galormi, finding some trouble in that corner. It looks like Mike have the better exit out of it, and he will have the position for now. Jonathan Furuz with a better overspeed out of against both of them, but he does find some trouble on that next set of chicanes. Girouni now running in P9 ahead of Nakes and Tomatoes in 11th, and it's Carlitos ahead of F186 Eurus in 14th, and it's Crunk, and then a long way back is Felix Lotus. Let's go back to the leader now, because Phantomy is actually getting chased down. Guzman being a lot faster than him in the previous few laps here. Lap and a half since we last turned our attention to them. There's still 4 laps to go here, but you can see the difference here. Guzman getting about 3.5 tenths off that previous lap, though. Does make a bit of a mistake in that first sector. Gives Phantomy a bit of breathing room here. X6 and No Hacks still chasing down quite nicely so far. X6 still in the position to grab that final place on the podium, but No Hacks with a lot of speed with that slipstream effect. He's making the move on that. That's a very unorthodox spot to make a move there, but he's gotten the job done there, and No Hacks is into the podium positions. He's 3rd now, X6 in 4th. MatiMar chasing them down. His pace has been quite rapid compared to the 2 in front of him, especially X6, who was caught up by about 7 tenths on the previous lap. Mike 97, followed by Girouni in 6th and 7th, and it's Galormi and Jonathan Furuz 8th and 9th, with Carlitos fighting Tomatoes here for P10. Ooh, bit of a shove there with both drivers. Tomatoes copying the brunt of that engagement. Nakes as well. Oh my goodness, what happened to him? He rocketed just through that final corner, and he's lost another position here to F186 and to Eurus now. Crunk now following in 15th. And let's go back to leaders now, because it is the final lap of the race for them. Phantomy and Guzman almost in that slipstream there. Guzman with a bit of an error though. That might prove costly, because Phantomy's got a pretty big gap here, and most of the rest of the lap is purely straight running. Phantomy with a nearly full second gap now. It should be curtains, because he's won the JL race today. And despite that little mistake there, he will win the sprint here in CL. Guzman taking second ahead of Nohax, X6 and MatiMar completing the top 5. Jaruni will finish just ahead of Mike in P6. Then it's Jonathan Fruz who actually makes a mistake there. Allows Golormi through. Or maybe there was a bit of shuffling there. Kalitos in P10 followed by Tomatoes. And Nearest will take P12 ahead of F186, Nakes and Crunk, with Felix Lotus a few laps down. Well, there was a lot of energy in that one. A lot of interesting situations for all the drivers involved. But what does end up happening is Phantomy taking the race win after several attempts. In his first full season, you'd love to see a race win for a new driver. It's definitely going to be one he's going to appreciate, especially after the JL win just about half an hour ago, closer to an hour ago from this point in time. That's going to serve him very well in the standings. He's currently running in P3, and he'll only bolster his points tally compared to Guzman and MatiMar. He's a long way back from those two, especially after his poor start to the season, but definitely getting back onto the podium will help out things for sure. MatiMar as well with P5, first race of the season that he has not finished in the podium positions. Quite the interesting one that is. Felix Lotus will be coming around and finishing his lap now. Phantomy with his first race win in CL. Guzman making it 4 podiums on the trot, taking second place. And Nohax back in the league and back on the podium for him. It's a good result for the HRT driver, of course, especially after we didn't see too much of him last season as well. X6 in P4 will be happy with that, but definitely be looking to improve come the race in the dry. MatiMar, again, as I said, first finish outside the points for quite a while. First one for this season. First one, I believe, since round 9 in last season's Challenger League round. I think that was around at the Le Mans circuit. Girini in P6, that'll be a good result for him, equaling the finish he got the last time out in Lago Maggiore. Then it is Mike 97 in P7. Another good result, again tying what he did in the previous race. Golormi in 8th place, with definitely improving as it stands. Best result of the season so far for him. Jonathan Fruz with a P9, and then it's Carlitos taking the final position in the top 10. That is the end of our points runners for today. Tomatoes in P11, followed by Urist, F186, Nakes, Mr. Crunk, and Felix Lotus to round us off. And I can imagine there'll be a ton of complaining and disputes going on at the end of that sprint. And perhaps even more to come, given the feature is not too far away as it stands. 40 laps of this track to come. Welcome back. The track is dry, and we are ready to go out for some racing once again. MatiMar will start us off. The lights are out, and here we are. Everyone starting on the soft tyre, and that will have to, again, the tyre rules will have to come into play for everyone. So everyone will have to bolt on different tyres for the end of the race. Massive massive incident from Girini there, going offline. And several drivers caught in the brunt of that. Mike 97 and Nakes finding some issue at the back of the field. But it is MatiMar starting away pretty strongly, holding on to P1 here. Phantomy in second, as the two seem to be slowly leaving a gap away from everyone else. It's Guzman, Tomatoes, and Girini now fighting for P3 here. Guzman with a bit of mistake there, loses out to X6 as well. He's down in 6th now. Jonathan Fruz in 7th, followed by Golormi, Nohax, and Carlitos in P10. Eurist in 11th now. Bit of a gap developing between the top 10 and everyone else. Eurist finding some trouble there with Nakes on his inside, but gets through just fine. Mike97 trying to charge through from the back once again. He's in P12. Oh my goodness. That was a big shove there from both Nakes and Crunk, and both of the non-EU drivers back on the field. Oh my goodness. That was definitely uncalled for there. Mike97 finding the brunt of that incident there with Eurus turning in a bit too early on that screen. F186 very lucky to not cop a full shunt there into the slow Canadian of Mr. Crunk after that incident. And it's Felix Lotus at the back of the field for now. Let's go back to the front because MatiMar and Fantasy running away. The top two have a gap over the next pack by about 1.3 seconds here. As Jerini, Guzman, and Jonathan Fruz try to get through. Oh my goodness! What happened there? Jerini with a bit of a incident on his connection. I'm not too sure what's going on there, and he's lost a bunch of time there, and he's lost a bunch of time for the group that he was in that slip train with as well. Guzman losing a bit of time, and so is Jonathan Fruz, who's lost a lot of time compared to the Norwegian. As it stands, going into lap 6 here, MatiMar and Phantomy still running in the front. MatiMar with a bit of a gap over Phantomy as it stands. It's definitely running quite well to start us off. Guzman in third, then it's Jonathan Fruz, Carlitos. Jerini with a bit of mistake, lets Tomatoes through into P6. Golormi trying to run it through the outside. He actually makes 2 overtakes in the space of 1 corner. Quite good quite the opportunistic move from him. Eurist also getting through on Jerini into P8 for the Portuguese driver. Jerini making sure that that doesn't come easy, but we'll have to see the position for now. Mike97 running in P10, and it's X6 and Nakes currently in the points positions. F186 trying to make a move there, just backs out of it. Bit of smart play there, didn't want to get shoved into the grass by the Australian. No Hacks and Crunk rounding at the back as Felix Lotus is in. And we already got someone in the pits here. That's Jerini, and he's made a very early stop. Lap 7 into the pits for another set of soft tyres. So no one has actually tried something different in regards to tyre strategies just yet, but we'll have to see how that plays out. There's a few more drivers will be heading into the pits here. I believe there's a couple. F186 and Tomatoes both in. F186 first one to change onto a different tyre here. Mr. Crunk will join him on the mediums. For now, though, let's go back to the leader, because MatiMar is pulling away quite well now. 2.4 seconds. That gap was nowhere near as big that previous lap, and Phantomy has lost only about half a tenth on just the last lap alone, so MatiMar definitely practiced on these more long stints compared to the Ricca Auto driver. Let's go back to MatiMar, who makes a stop onto another set of softs. Phantomy onto another set of softs. Guzman on that undercut is on another set of softs as well, as Eurist goes in after lap 10. Jonathan Fruz is going to run through and head into 4th place on his mediums, followed by Jerini, Carlitos, and Eurist just heading out just behind X6 in P8. So we have Felix Lotus as well into the pits, and Tomatoes has actually been in twice. I'm not sure why he's been in twice. Maybe he's been shoved into the pits at some point. And Felix Lotus is in for hards as it stands. Alright. See MatiMar just getting through on Felix Lotus. First lapped car of the day. Phantomy on the softs. Guzzi on the softs. Jerini running through. Ahead of Jonathan. Jonathan Fruz as well in P4. Quite the interesting predicament. We have Carlitos as well in P6. Then it's X6, Eurist, Mike97, Golormi, Nakes, F186, No Hacks. Oh my goodness, that was a big shove there from Mike97. And No Hacks is out of the race. Oh dear. First retirement of the day. That is not a good look for him at all. Leaving the game quite quickly after 13 laps on the track here. Eurist and Golormi still battling here. Mike97 trying to get through. Golormi just not finding any gap there. He's just going to be stuck behind Eurist for the time being. Nakes being able to make some inroads on those two. MatiMar now 3.5 seconds ahead of Phantomy in P2. He's really running away now. This is not going to be looking pretty for the spread spread of the grid as it stands. But it is Guzman in third, Gary in fourth. Jonathan Flores and Carlitos having a bit of a scrap here. Jonathan Flores really falling away on those mediums. Just not able to hold onto the slipstream that the softs are trying to provide at the moment. That will turn into a benefit later because he will be on the softs when everyone else will need to bolt on their compulsory second compound. We have quite a few drivers who still need to make that option, but it is still early days in this race. Just ending lap 16 for the leaders. See, Jonathan Flores still fighting with X6 over this position. As Carlitos tries to get away from the two. It'd be a great result for him to finish in the top 5. But he's slowly made a few errors, and it might come back to bite him as the rest of the field is coming around. Mike 97 is also showing off a bit of pace on those soft tyres. He will have to bolt on some fresh rubber relatively soon. Someone is in the pit lane, and I didn't see who that was. That is Girini in for an early stop. He's onto the medium tyre, so right, that's one for the books now. Girini in for only the second driver to make 2 stops, and we'll have to see how these undercuts work out for him, because it's looking pretty nice based on that first stint. And it looks like someone is responding immediately. That is Guzman in, and Carlitos is going to follow him. So both Nordic Blizzard drivers in for some fresh rubber. Guzman onto the mediums, and Carlitos also on the mediums. You can see a few strategies playing off now. Guzman trying to make that undercut work, and Carlitos is also going to be enjoying some fresh rubber compared to some of his rivals here. MatiMar coming out of the pits here. And the gap between him and everyone else is nearly absurd at this point. He's almost got a full pit stop gap between him and second place. And Jonathan Flores is a long way back as well, who still needs to make a stop. And there you go, Phantomy in after about a lap running as the leader of the race. And Matty will take that to the bank. Gap now 4.8. Jesus. Matty just absolutely authoritarian at the moment. He is showing off pace that no one in this league at the moment just has any answers for. Phantomy, yeah, 4.8 seconds, nearly 5 seconds. We just passed the halfway mark of the race. See Crunk heading out of the pits there. Guzman on the mediums. Everyone is on the mediums as it stands. Galormi pitting for the softs. Eurus onto the softs. There's a few drivers who still have to abide by that ruling, and I think it's only Nakes and Galormi are the only two from my stats that are yet to bolt on the option tyre. But it is smooth sailing for MatiMar at the moment. The Phantomy is gaining a little bit of time here. We'll have to see how that last lap compares. Phantomy improving on the gap by about 1/10.5 on the previous lap there. Guzman isn't getting any close to Phantomy either as it stands. Girini slowly making inroads as well onto the Norwegians' current lap times. X6 in 5th. Then it's Jonathan Flores and Mike 97 side by side heading into the penultimate turn. And it looks like Mike 97 has made the move stick, but Jonathan Flores makes it side by side heading into turn 1, and he backs out. Yeah, smart play there. And they are just going to team up and maybe get a bit of a pace to be shared between the two as they chase down X6 in P5. Carlitos running in P8 on the mediums. Galormi on the soft still in P9, followed by Eurus in 10th. Nakes and F186 are rounding out the points finishes as it stands. The halfway point, no, closer to about 3/5 of the race done as it stands. F186 almost about to be lapped by MatiMar, such as his pace been for this race so far. Tomatoes in 13th, just finishing lap 25. Then it is Mr. Crunk and Felix Lotus with no hacks rounding off the drivers, though he did make that retirement very early on. MatiMar commanding as usual. Well, not as usual. It's been a while since he's won a race just like this. Gap is still a very comfortable, very healthy 4.29 seconds. Though Phantom is catching every lap. It has to be said. Even it's a little bit every lap, he is catching. And we'll have to see if any inroads can be made, especially as Phantom will maybe run for the undercut for this final stint. It's looking like to be only one stint left for the rest of the field. Golormi in, and he is in for the hards. It's very interesting. We're not going to be seeing too many of the hard tyre runners in this race, but Golormi having to bolt on another set of tyres. He goes for the hards instead to run for about 12-13 laps. Have to see how that plays out for him. MatiMar now rounding out the corner. Into lap 30 we go. Yeah, equivalent lap times between Phantom and MatiMar. Squizzyman rounds out lap 29 as well. Jaruni is in for his final stop on the track. He's going to go for 11 lap softs. That is daring, shall we put it. And hopefully he can do something with that undercut, because it's all he's banking on as it stands. Next also in, he is going onto the mediums. The last of our drivers needing to fulfill that 2 Kaya compound rule, of course. If anyone were to make that mistake, they would be disqualified. And a bunch of other drivers heading in at the end of lap 30. Guzman is right on Jaruni's tail, so the undercut has been pretty fruitful for the Belarusian, but can he hold on to it is the bigger question, as MatiMar heads in for his final stop, and he is an absolute light year away from the rest of the field now. Phantom, with a bit of an undercut, is still just under 4 seconds behind the pole in P1. Jaruni and Guzman still fighting away for P3 though. Looks like Guzman finding a bit of trouble on the slipstream, but he's hold on to it for now. Jaruni still leading us away in this fight for the final position on the podium. Makes a bit of an error on the penultimate corner though. Guzman right on his tail, and I'll be hoping that later on in the race, Jaruni's tyres will start to feel quite worn out, though it is only a 1 lap difference between these two in terms of their tyre compounds, so it'll definitely be a battle of who can handle that wear better come the closing stages of the race. X6 in P5, quite a ways away from everyone really. He's sort of running his own race as it stands. Mike97 trying to break away from Carlitos, and Jonathan Frew is behind him, though he's doing a good job of that. Gap's about 2 seconds between 6th and 7th. Another 2 seconds between 7th and 8th. Yurist and Golormi, actually. Yurist making that pit stop earlier, a lot later than Golormi did, and Golormi will be salvaging this slipstream for as much as he can muster it, though I don't think he's in the slipstream anymore, and that's going to leave him really vulnerable to everyone further back. The hard tyres will be quite slow, especially given this is a very flat-out track, though he does have a near 5-second gap on his teammate in P11. Nakes is running on the mediums for his final stint, chased down by F186 on the softs. Have to see how that gap in that fight for P11 will come down to the end of the race. Tomatoes in P13, and it's not looking too good for him in terms of any chance of points. He's quite a ways away from F186 it stands. Mr. Crunk in P14, then it's Felix Lotus rounding out the field as it stands with no hacks, a sole retirement from the race. MatiMar still commanding out in front, 5.5, nearly 6-second gap. And that's quite a big gap given the amount of given how short the track is. He's pulled away quite nicely, especially in the early stage of the race, especially when everyone was still sort of getting used to the glare, and he's been able to hold that lead for so long. And have to see how big that gap comes in about 3 laps time. as he rounds that long right-hander once again. Fantemy just a bit too far away to make anything done. It looks like a P2 for him. It'll be a great result. A P1 and a P2 from this round will be just what he's asking for. Guzman finding a bit of the grass there. Jaruni slowed down. It was a bit of like, hey, that was my fault. I'm going to let you back in a bit. But yeah, trouble brewing between these two, fighting for P3. The final position of the podium. Guzman would love the extra points. He's in that title fight with MatiMar. And MatiMar getting full points in this feature race will be quite handy for him. Guzman through on Jaruni as they enter the final lap. But it is, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes on. Oh no, Jaruni, big mistake there. That's not going to be helpful for him. Let's pull back because MatiMar is actually heading into the pit lane. I guess he can do that. He is just so far ahead of everyone. He takes the checker in the pits. And Fantemy is going to do the same thing for some reason. I'm not sure why. He does finish in P2. Guzman takes third ahead of Jaruni. X6 takes P5. Then it's Mike 97 in 6th place. Carlitos with a great result for him, 7th. And Jonathan Fruz in P8 will be happy with that one as well. Dang. P9 for Urist, followed by Golormi in 10th on those hard tyres. F186 takes that P11 from Nakes at the end of the race. Tomatoes in 13th. Then it is Mr. Kronk and Felix Otis just rounding out the last few laps here. But yeah, MatiMar taking that little excursion into the pit lane on that final lap. But yeah, it says a lot about the gap he pulled out. Quite naturally over the course of the entire race, it was just absolute domination. Fantemy will take P2 though, and it's an absolute monster weekend for him there. Win in JL, followed by P2 in the sprint, P1 in the sprint, P2 in the feature. Absolute strong performance today. Guzman in P3, taking that podium, continuing that streak as well he's had from the feature race in round 2 this season. Jaruni in P4, best result of the season for him, but he'll be hoping, he would have been hoping for that podium today, so he definitely won't come out of this completely happy. X6 with P5, definitely an improvement for him. He hasn't raced since round 2, and it's the best result for the season so far for him. Mike 97 taking P6, good result for him as well. Another top 6 finish in the sprint, in the feature, sorry, for the Rico Auto driver. Carlitos in 7th, a surprise I'd say, given he came in relatively late. He was the replacement for Kiato, if I remember correctly, so good on him for the points he scored today. Jonathan Fruz in P8, he'll definitely be happy with that one. It's almost very strong result for him. Someone's echoing in my audio. I'm not too sure what that is going on with. Urist takes P9, another finish in 9th place. 3 of the last 4 races for him finishing in 9th. Then it is Golormi rounding out the top 10 with another P10 in a sprint. Last time he raced in a feature race, it was P10 at the flag for him. F186 debut race in CL results in P11 in the feature. Good result. It is points for him. Nakes in P12, the last driver to take points for today, with Tomatoes right behind him, Crunk, Felix Lotus, and then sole retirement of the race, no hacks. And yeah, quite the relatively mellow race, all things considered, especially after that initial turmoil of the start. But that is your Sicilian Prix round. Round 4 is done and dusted in Challenger League for Season 13. And we're going to be heading to Africa next time out for the Senegalese Grand Prix. We'll see you there next time. Take care.